everyone, welcome. Today I want to talk to you all about healthcare in Ghana. Before I start the video, I just want to say that this video is not about putting down Ghana's healthcare or anything like that. I am merely giving my opinion on how I feel the healthcare system here is. Okay, I like to be very honest to you guys, and so I don't want to say something that is not true. Okay, so to start with, Ghana's healthcare system definitely 100% needs a lot of improvement. And I'm not saying that off the back of just thin air or rumors. I've seen it for myself. There are a lot of things that need to be improved when it comes to healthcare. If you are coming to Ghana and you want to have some sort of insurance, you want to have some security as to, if you get sick, what you're going to do. I mean, there are various ways you can do it. When we first moved, the plan was that actually we would get medical insurance. That's what I'm trying to say. We would get medical insurance. Now, when I looked into it, I think for the first year that we came, we bought a medical insurance. I think at the time, to cover all of us, it was quite costly. It was about £600, which is, I don't know, maybe $750 for the year to cover all of us. It was just like basic cover. I mean, we never used it, but I mean, we had that as an option. But then what I found was that actually it wasn't quite what I wanted anyway. And so when I started looking into it further, I looked at some other options. So I looked into a company called Wara. I don't even know if I'm saying it, but Wara, W-A-R-A. You can look them up on the internet. It's called West African something. You can tell I've done my research here, right? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I looked into them, and they're basically, what it is like a paid monthly service that you use them. Hi. Someone wants to be in the video. Bye-bye. Sorry. Go. See you. Anyway. It's like a paid monthly service that you do to them. And if you have Wara, they are great. They're a bit expensive, but in order to use Wara, you have to have some sort of insurance from back home. So the insurance that I picked when we first came to Ghana for the year, you'd have to have that. Plus, you'd have to pay a monthly subscription to them also in order to use their service. Now, you can't just turn up at Wara when you feel sick one day. You have to have that service. That service has got to have been going for some time. You can't just use it today and not tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. There are also other ones which I'm not going to name on here just because I can't be bothered, and you should also do your own research. Right, okay. So there are services out there that are good and that they can help, but like I say, they are costly. Your other options are, if you get sick, you then need to just find a hospital, or if you have a particular illness, make sure you research into the hospitals that you know that you can go to that specialize in that thing. So for example, if you have sickle cell, if you have diabetes, anything like that, make sure you know those hospitals that you know that you can straight away go to. They can also look after you month to month as well. So there are other options that you can use those options of going to those specified hospitals, or you can just if you live in a particular area, just know what hospitals are local to you that you can go to if you fall sick. Many people do tend to do that, but obviously if that is an option, in Ghana it's very different to the UK, so they will not treat you. You have to pay, and you will not be able to leave the hospital until you pay or someone comes to pay on your behalf. So if you do fall sick, make sure that you have a means to paying for your treatment, whether it be medication, or if you have to stay in overnight, make sure you have got the funds to pay for that. It's a good idea if you don't have surplus income every month to obviously have something put aside in case of emergencies. You should do that as a matter of standard practice anyway. Always have a reserve of funds that you have for any type of emergencies that may pop up. It's really important to have that. So that's how it is. So the negative side of the hospital care in Ghana is that sometimes, I'm choosing my words very carefully here because I know a lot of you are probably going to shout me down because you just do, but that's fine. The negative side of the hospital care in Ghana is that sometimes some of the, not so much the doctors, the nurses here, they can be quite standoffish at times. especially when you're not a local, they don't sometimes treat you very well. So you could go in there and say, oh, you know, my legs dropped off, please help me, I'm in pain, and they'll say sit down. They'll just say sit down. They sometimes don't have a lot of sympathy for you. So you know, so it's good if you can do your research beforehand and find good hospitals that you know, or what a lot of people tend to do that live here is they know doctors, or they know people who know doctors, and therefore there's a friendship established, so that if anything does go wrong, you can easily call that person up and say, look, I'm not feeling well, I'm coming to hospital, please can you come and see me? And that does work. So it's good to know people, but I know that's not obviously an option for everybody, especially if you don't have any connections here. That's not so easy to do, I'm aware of that. So it's good to make friends with people, because Ghana's very small, so someone always knows someone else that can help you with your problem most of the time. I would say most of the time, because Ghana is so small. So don't be disheartened that way. I'm just giving you guys the truth, the hardcore truth here. You know, I've known people who have gone into labor and they've gone to the hospital and the midwives have been like, why are you waking me up for? This is why I keep saying that, you know, this has got to be a thing where more people need to come back. And if you're into midwifery, if you're into, you know, whatever, come here and establish yourselves, because we have a need here. Ghana's great, Africa's great, but there is so much need here, especially in specific sectors. Okay, so I mean, I wouldn't be too scared about, you know, I'm not trying to scare you into not coming to Ghana, but I want you to be aware of the challenges that we have here. So I hope you guys can see where I'm coming from as I'm speaking. Okay, so definitely there is a lot of work to be done in terms of people's mentalities when you are sick and you go to hospital. But to be fair, I mean, we've been here 4 years, we've never had to enter a hospital for any particular reason, except maybe to get I don't know, nothing really. In fact, we've never really had to go to hospital here, which is great. Most of the time when people fall sick, it's usually to do with malaria. You can literally go to a chemist. If you fall sick, go to a chemist. Usually it's going to be malaria. Check yourself out. They have malaria tests where they'll just like do a finger prick, and they'll put your blood into the machine thing, like a bit like a pregnancy test, and it will tell you if it's malaria, if it's not malaria. It's pretty simple, and you can take like a 3-day course. If you catch it early, take a 3-day course, and you can be done with. But when it comes to malaria, if you leave malaria for too long, it gets worse very, very, very quickly. So you want to deal with that very quickly. That's one of the first things you should do if you feel sick. Go and get yourself a malaria test. It's very, very, very important. There are other private hospitals around that you can go to, which are pretty good, but obviously you're going to pay a premium for them. They're so-called like expatie type hospitals. I'm not going to name any, but they're around. They obviously will charge you quite a bit for their service. You can go there if you're into shots. You can do your shots there. You can do all that kind of stuff there. You know, you'll have a specific doctor that you will know. You'll have their contact number. You'll have all their details. So if anything happens, you can actually call that person and they will attend to you, as they have some sort of relationship with you. So those are around. But if you don't have anything like that, you can obviously, like I say, just rock up to a hospital and say, look, I'm sick. But the only thing about those type of hospitals, as I said already, is that sometimes you're left at the mercy of the person who you meet. And sometimes if they don't take to you, they can let that sometimes affects their work, and they don't treat you nice, they don't treat you fairly, but you have to go with it. Sometimes this is one of the instances where if you speak a local language, it helps, because they'll be shocked and their heart will be more warm to you. So learn to speak a language if you can. I'm speaking to myself as well. Learn to speak a language, even if it's just a few words. It does help you, or at least at the bare minimum, have someone on hand that if you get sick, that can help you in the hospital, do your speaking on your behalf, because you may not be able to. It's good to just, you know, try and cover as many bases as you can, but most importantly, make sure you have money if you are going to hospital, because most of the time if you fall sick and you're in hospital, you cannot leave until you have paid your bill. I believe America is much like that. I've never been to America, so I don't know. In the UK, we have NHS, so you don't really pay for anything yourself. It's all taken care of, so you wouldn't even think of it. So I guess you're more used to that if you're American and you're watching this. But anyway, that's more or less the healthcare system here. It's not the best. It definitely needs a lot of work. There are a lot of things that need to be improved, but I don't think it's something you need to be scared of. If you take care of yourself, the worst thing, as I say, is malaria. Unless, God forbid, you're involved in like a car accident or something like that. That's another situation. You know, there are various different hospitals around. What I would say is, if you do fall sick, be sure to tell the person, the doctor or the nurse, what is wrong with you. Don't assume that because you say, oh, my head is hurting, that they will check you for everything. They won't do that. You kind of pretty much have to tell them, look, this and this, and break it down for them so that they will get a clear picture of what it is that is wrong with you. Don't just think that they're going to have checked everything. It doesn't work like that. You need to know certain things for yourself. But anyway, guys, I'm out. Until next time.
To pee.